Hello, this is Stephen Hour. Yes, we're back with the very last Batman 66 episode review. Today, we'll be reviewing the episode Minerva, Millionaires, and Mayhem, which will be the last time the dynamic trio will be going up against Minerva, but also, sadly, the very last episode of the original Batman 66 TV series. So without any further ado, let's head into this review. We begin our episode with Bruce Wayne at Minerva's essentially hair salon, a hair salon or massage parlor is what it really is, having a nice day there, but eventually leaves quickly because he has a board meeting. But there are other millionaires who don't have to leave so early. Two millionaires who are actually one is the narrator and the producer of this show, William Dozer, making a cameo appearance. And the other person is named. The next person is Howie Horser, I think that's his name, and he's another kind of producer, another person who really helped this show for 3 seasons. So I really like getting cameos from people who helped making the show. Anyways, whilst they're separately, of course, in Minerva's, special massage chair, once this thing is placed on their head, it extracts certain information from their heads where they keep some of their fortunes and valuables, and Minerva, as a result, gets their information. Whilst Bruce is leaving the spa, he runs into a friend who says about their current diamond thing they've got on loan, and Minerva, hearing this, can't take up a chance, secretly takes his watch away and hides it. As Bruce leaves, though he's curious where his watch is, he does end up leaving. Minerva then, of course, tells to a henchman she plans to steal the diamonds, the Wayne Foundation diamonds. We then do the usual opening credits, and we get back to where we left off, with Minerva and her henchmen discussing plans not just to steal it, but also to fence off the recent robberies that they've committed. And the person that is helping fencing them off is a person that we are familiar with, Freddy the Fence, who we've seen in Julie Newmar's very last Catwoman episode of the series. Just as that's happening, Batman, of course, gets 2 calls. One from Minerva about how they found his watch. The second is from Commissioner Gordon telling him about all the rash robberies that have been committed, but only the millionaires knew where they were hidden. Batman, realizing the two could possibly be a connection, though can't believe that she might be involved, he decides to go undercover as Bruce Wayne, but have Robin nearby with his batsuit to quickly get changed if things seemed amiss. Just as Bruce goes into the spa and goes through the infamous treatment, which resulted in them getting the information where the valuables were hidden, he essentially falls through the same trap. And as he leaves, calls up Robin to come with his batsuit. Of course, they change in secret and go into the spa. They then ask, of course, to have a treatment, and this results in Minerva, who was suspicious of Bruce Wayne talking on his watch, was suspicious for a bit, brings them in, but puts them in this decompressorizer device, and essentially, she believes she's killed them. Everyone's worried because Batman and Robin dare to screw out suspicion, but she doesn't care. She wants to get those diamonds before she quickly makes her leave. It turns out Batman and Robin somehow survive, courtesy of these bat tablets that they use. Of course they survive. Hello. And make their way to Commissioner Gordon's office, where they question Minerva. Gordon seems to be smitten with her, but Barbara's a little bit jealous and doesn't like her posh attitude. They don't get much information out of her and can't really hold her, as she didn't do it. Technically, her henchman did, and she didn't. And she said she didn't hire them. They hired her to run the spa. Realizing that, Batman then comes up with another plan to send another millionaire in who happens to be resembled to a certain millionaire. He asked Barbara to help because the real millionaire will be at her library, and hopefully the certain book could keep him occupied. The person going undercover is Alfred. of course, Alfred does come in for the treatment on schedule. Just as that's happening, Batman is at the Wayne Foundation and realizes that the safe is locked, courtesy of a device that Batman has to manage to open and find out the diamonds have been stolen. They have been. Minerva stole them earlier. Realizing that Minerva is definitely the culprit, I realized the only way they could have found this was from that device, that massage Bruce had with the millions in, because he was the only one who had the combination, and the only way they could figure it out was from the massage that Bruce had. Realizing that Alfred could be in danger of exposing their identities, they run, and so does Barbara as Batgirl, thinking on the exact same logic pattern. Alfred is of course placed in the device, and it results in him almost revealing the identity, but Batgirl just comes in the nick of time to prevent any information from being revealed. But Minerva knows that clearly everything's amiss, and this guy's clearly a phony, and basically orders his henchmen to contact Freddy the Friends and get packing quick. Batgirl and Alfred are placed in the decompressorizer, about to be killed off. Minerva comes in saying that the Freddy the Fence has flown, and demands the temperature be put on high in order to kill them. Batman and Robin happen to come in just around this point, and the very last bat fight breaks out. They end up fighting the goons, releasing Batgirl and Alfred. Batgirl joins in, and a little bit of Alfred. It's a fun, and it's really sad that this is the final bat fight, and considering that, I really feel that it went pretty well in choreograph-wise. We end the episode with Batgirl and Alfred having a scene together, about how the device almost revealed the secret, and Minerva's running on her way out, only to be caught by Commissioner Gordon, Chief O'Hara, two of their men, and Freddy the Fence. They caught him just before he boarded the plane and spilled on everyone. The police then go to round up all the henchmen and take them, Freddy the Fence, and Minerva away. And as usual, Batman and Robin turn around and ask where's Batgirl gone, but Batman just says, wherever, and who knows. And there we end the episode, and we end there with the series. Alfred gets to play a bit of a role at the end there, which is fun. Barbara showing a bit of jealousy with Gordon's affection to Minerva is pretty fun. And of course, Batgirl having to slip away at the end is fine. It's nice to end it there. I would have liked if everyone's identity came out, but of course it didn't. Gordon O'Hara contribute nothing to the story, but again, that's kind of expected. But I can agree, everyone, even though this was the final episode, played the character exactly how they were when we were first introduced to them, and it's great that they've done it just like that. Minerva. Kind of a weird choice for her to be a final villain. I'm surprised they didn't bring Marsha. I mean, she's stealing diamonds. This is exactly up her alley. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind having a recast. I mean, come on, they've done that with Mr. Freeze, Catwoman, and Riddler. I wouldn't mind a recast. And I don't know, it just feels weird for this to be a final villain. Every time I see this episode, I'm thinking, wasn't Marsha brought back? Why was it Minerva? Why was there a new character, Minerva? It would have made sense to bring a new an old character, and she's been established and seen in more episodes. Would have made sense. Other than clearly that, how do I feel about the actress' performance? Well, Zsa Zsa Gabor was an accomplished actress, well, very known person around this time, very huge. So, of course, they brought her. I'm not really a huge fan of her character. I find her a little bit weak, but not on the same level of Nora Clavicle. But she's just behind Dr. Cassandra, I will admit. She's just behind. Overall, okay, I guess. Freddy the Fence is brought back, and I'm surprised that they would bring a minor character back. I've always liked Freddy the Fence with the short character he did. I'm great they brought him back, and it made sense. And what was great is he made sense to fit into the plot. He fences diamonds. And he makes more sense of his character being used here than in the previous episodes. So I really like they brought him. Minerva, Mayhem, and Millionaires. Continuing this with the final episode, there is some moment that we need to take into consideration here. I personally don't mind this episode. I really like it. I wish the episode could have been better. Maybe for a final episode, it should have been Batman going up against Riddler. Think about it. The very first episode was up against Riddler. Would have made a lot of sense, but it never happened. Overall, this is okay. This is an okay episode. And it's kind of weird saying it's okay because the last episode was more spectacular, but I can understand it. This was back in the 60s. Things were different. Overall, it's okay. Season 3. Wow. Season 3 is often considered the weakest season of the show. I can agree to that, but I think it's not that weak or bad as people make it out to be. There are some pretty good episodes and some fun episodes. There are some pretty bad and lazy episodes. I can admit that. Most of it, and for me, Season 3 did introduce new things to the series. First off, I really liked the one episode format. I really found it really interesting, and the cliffhanger was really, not really that, but there'll be clips for next week's villain. True, they would do some 2-parters and 3-parters somewhere in this season, but I like the one episode format. It was a little bit fresh, and I admit, after Season 2 with the 2-parter, this was really to shake things up. Many of our favorite villains returned. The Joker, Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, Egghead, King Tut, Shame. But they also went to introduce some new villains. Some have become pretty popular with the fan base. These included, of course, the Siren, Olga, and of course Louis the Lilac. But it did introduce some weak villains, mostly Nora Clavicle, Dr. Cassandra, her husband Kabbalah, and I got a bit of Minerva. But yeah. Also, this is clearly an example of a new character being introduced as build with the main cast. Clearly took over the show, and the season is more referred to the Batgirl show rather than Batman. Overall, I really don't mind this season. I found it to be pretty good. It's clearly not better than season 1 or 2, because those were the stronger seasons. But I thought what it tried to do and what it wanted to be, it was different. So I don't really think it's that bad, but I can see where many of the hate comes from. And there we have it. That was the last Batman 66 episode. Wow, I can't believe I finished this. I remember starting this and I thought it was gonna take a lot longer, but this is really the final episode of the series. I'm gonna take a break from 66 to focus on really other videos, mostly doing top 10s or even TV show reviews. But at some point down the line, I will be doing some special 66 episodes, special ones down the line. These will include the 2 animated movies, the unaired pilot, the comic Batman 66 meets the Green Hornet, and this kind of weird Batman 66 medium film thing. You gotta understand it when I show you it. I plan to mostly review that as the last ever thing, mostly, and I don't know what I'm gonna do first, but it's really upsetting. This is really the final 66 episode, so excuse me. So until next time, tune into the next Steven Hour, the next Steven channel. Ladies and gentlemen, so long for now.